And now, Giant Sports Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Eric and Glenn.
We're talking Giants every day. From McCovey Cove to the Oracle Park lights, Eric and Glenn keep the fire burning bright, fighting for the glory, no matter what it costs us, breaking down the moments from the wins to the losses. Giant Sports Talk, we're here for the ride. Eric and Glenn with the fan base pride, talking dreams, will they contend? But we'll back the Giants till the very end. Let's go, Giants! Yes, yes, yes!
Whoa.
Oh! Eric and Glenn breaking it down, all Giants all the time.
All right, welcome to the special edition Giant Sports Talk Live postgame. Dieter will be joining us very shortly here. We're going to talk about the quick postgame here, and then we'll bring in Dieter and get his thoughts about the game, about the Giants. It should be a fun discussion tonight, guys. Of course, Giants lose again, game 2 between the Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. They just looked awful. Lander Roop had absolutely nothing. The Giants offense consisted of 2 guys producing everything for the Giants. No one else did anything. Hauser had to come in and I think he pitched more, didn't he? I think he pitched more innings than Landon Roop did. And again, the Giants fall 8-2. Terrible baseball. Let me just kick it to you, Glenn. What'd you think?
Well, the same old Eric. I'm considering just going to get a picture of myself, ship it off to you with a bunch of cue cards, and you can just hold up my picture in the cue card. Because we say the same thing every freaking show, Eric.
Huh?
I mean, it's just a repeat. You just put it on repeat every night. Now, tonight, same thing, Eric. They had 9 hits, only struck out 3 times.
No. 4 hits.
Oh, I thought it was 9. Oh, well, where did I get that? The stat package here says 9. That's why I did. See, I got to go to my GPT guy and ask him to be official. Anyway, Eric, it's a team with no pitching. We got guys who, work for the long ball. Devers, you know how I'm off on Devers altogether. I said it the other night, well, he's got 15 home runs. Yeah, but that equates to about 15 RBIs. It's the most inopportune home runs I've ever seen. I'm beyond frustrated. I'm not at the I don't give a damn point yet, but it's pretty darn close, Eric, because Jesus, I lost coin on them tonight, so that adds insult to injury, a little salt in the wound for me. I said sooner or later they got to beat Arizona. Well, apparently, no, that's not the case. So I don't know what's going on, Eric. We were talking in the green room about the lack of understanding, if you will. Last night on the show, I called it communication. And I mean, every professional team. Now, I covered hockey for 18 years doing the play-by-play. And I don't think there was a game during the preseason, the regular season, or the postseason where they didn't meet in the locker room before the game. There was a game plan. If there's no communication, how can there be a game plan, Eric? I think they just go out there, play their 9 innings, go home, and they're quite content. And I'm telling you, leaves me quite frustrated. How about you, Big Lou?
Tonight was a true definition of why the Giants are boring. Okay, first of all, it's the same crap every night. It's the same lineup. You got to do something with this lineup because it's boring. It's the same. We're 15 games below 500, so we put the same crap out there, and we think it's going to be better. Number 2, I texted Eric earlier. I think Tony V is a complete moron. Maybe he never graduated from grammar school. I'm not saying high school or college grammar school because he's an idiot. Okay, first of all, Hauser got demoted to be a long reliever. Are you telling me in the second inning he couldn't see that Roop did not have it? Roop had 6 walks. He couldn't get out. He only had 1 pitch of his 4 working, and that was the changeup. That's why you have Hauser there. You should have had him up in the pen after the first inning saying, listen, Hauser, get ready. That's why you're there for a long reliever. Instead, you bring him in with the bases loaded. We saw this last night. He waits too long. Second of all, he should hire someone to say, hey, Tony, our starter's not doing well. Should I get somebody up in the pen just in case before it's too late? Unbelievable. And last but not least, they are complete morons. Why do they keep pitching to Marte? Are they complete idiots? Stop pitching to him.
It didn't matter at that time.
Well, the one time when the bases loaded. I know that, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
I thought tonight was a total embarrassment again. And you know what? I think tonight might have hit rock bottom because you had Luis Arias get 3 hits, almost hit for the cycle, and then you got Devers with another solo. Nobody else. Chapman hurt himself on a throw. Give me a break. I don't even know why the guy's out there. You know, it's going to be one of these things. Oh, I pulled a groin. I did something. So give me a couple days off.
I got 100 million reasons. There's 100 million reasons why he's out there. All right.
Well, you know what? It's awful. The Giants need to do something because you know what? Like I said, I'm sick and tired of seeing the same things. I've seen in the last 2 weeks, Chapman lead off 3 times, bat third, bat fourth. Today, I believe he was 8th. I mean, give me a break. The guy is just useless. But you know what? It's amazing. If you guys remember yesterday, people were saying the Giants should have 4 all-stars on this team. There's only 1 all-star. That's it. Arias. That's it. Nobody else deserves to be an all-star. Look what's happening. You know, you got to show up. An all-star is someone that makes a difference and shows up every game. And then last but not least, back to you guys, Eldridge again, another 0 for 4. You guys keep thinking he's going to be Rookie of the Year. Wake up. Wake up and let him just be himself and be an average player. He's not a superstar, at least right now. Give me a break. Back to you guys.
Eric, you know what? You know what? Manasian, Posey, and ownership. You know what they remind me of? They're the 3 little piggies. They're the 3 little piggies, Eric. They built a straw house, and this thing is just, they lose. Poof. It's over. Done. I'm so frustrated. Lou, you're frustrated as well. Eric, I don't know what to say anymore. It's a good thing we've got a guest. We can get a different perspective, but he's probably going to fall under the same umbrella as Giant Sports Talk Live.
Yeah, it could be.
And now, another special guest appearance on Giant Sports Talk Live.
All right, without further ado, guys, welcome in Dieter Kurtenbach. There you go, writer for the San Jose Mercury, correct? San Jose Mercury, guest host on the KNBR, and then you got a new podcast, right? Dieter and Hutch.
Oh, it's been around. We just finally got someone to watch it. That's the
best. All right. There you go. Well, there you go. You know, you've been talking a lot about the Giants. It's been tough. You know, we're sitting here every single day doing a post game trying to cover this team. And it hasn't been fun, I'll tell you, Dieter.
No, sir.
Let's talk a little bit about this game first. I saw a tweet that you put out there talking about what is Landon Roop doing out there, calling his own game. He hasn't even played an entire full season yet as a pitcher, and you had a little bit of an issue with that.
Well, yeah, I'm watching it, and he just looks frazzled, right? And he's not able to control his arm slot. He's not able to control any runners. I mean, how many running starts did base runners get tonight? He's so okay. And listen, I'm not even going to put it on him. It's simply if you were to have jumped in, no context whatsoever, and watch that kid pitch tonight, and he's 27. I don't want to be, babying him here or anything,
right?
But he doesn't have any major league experience. He's not calling his own pitches in the minor leagues. He's not calling his own pitches in high school. He's not calling his own pitches anywhere. And so now at the major league level, it's, hey, go call your own pitches in a major league game when it overtly isn't working. He has 6 walks tonight. Yeah, his pitches aren't working. Why? Because he's got his mind on something else. He's not just seeing seeing the fingers, hearing it come through the monitor and throw. He can't handle all of that. That's a lot to manage calling a game. But oh well, the catchers can't do it. And well, we're not going to do it from the dugout, which is an option, by the way. The Marlins are doing that, and it seems to be going just fine for them. We're gonna make sure that all of our pitch, we're going to empower them. Fine. If that's your plan, if that's your cool new idea, this is the way you differentiate yourself. We're going to let all of our pitchers call their own pitches. Then you should have been doing it in March. You should have been doing it in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, at spring training, so that these guys get some practice at the craft, because that's a craft, calling your own pitches. And it's something that I don't mind if Logan Webb is doing, because Logan Webb has been in the big leagues for a decade, right? Like, this is somebody who has a lot of notches in his belt and probably can call a better game than whatever, recent call up they have behind the plate. But Landon Roop has minimal major league experience. And now you're throwing an entirely different job, a really difficult job, on him. And I just thought that it manifested tonight because he just looked rushed. You got 15 seconds. Heaven forbid somebody in the Arizona batter's box decides to play a little bit of a game with you and speed you up even more. Heaven forbid you have runners on base, which is the likely outcome when you're not able to control a couple of your pitches tonight and your arm slot is all over the place. You have no release point consistency. Your arm slot consistency looks bad. I'm not going to purport myself to be some expert on baseball who could come in and fix anything. But if I'm watching this and going, this doesn't look right at all, this kid looks frazzled, and then I'm seeing that they're making him do one of the toughest things in all of sports to do, which is call an effective game for himself, I'm going to probably lean in that direction, because these were not, maybe holding on guys was an issue before, but this dude didn't have arm slot issues at all. Earlier, it was just running through the regular gambit of issues as a young major league pitcher, but it wasn't, release point. It wasn't arm slot issues. He just looked frazzled. And then you look at the dugout and it's just 1,000-yard stare from everybody. And it's like, I don't know, maybe let the catcher call something. Maybe we switch up this pitch count thing, but no, one guy probably should be doing it. So now they're all going to do it, and they're going to change fundamentally how they go about preparing for games and executing strategy, which is a term I use very loosely with the San Francisco Giants. We're going to change the way that we execute strategy in game, the most strategic aspect of baseball. We're going to change that in June. That's a team that's just grasping at straws, pressing random buttons and hoping something works. They don't have a plan. They've never had a plan, and they're getting totally exposed on the daily for not having a plan, and certainly not being able to execute anything that could even possibly resemble a plan.
Whew. Glenn, you got anything?
No, I think he's on to something there, Eric. Maybe he can expand upon it if he wants. I totally agree. I've said it to you guys on the show 101 times. Not only is it a team, it seems, without direction, but to sum up what you just said, I always say this is a team that always seems to reinvent the wheel. We got to be different than everybody. Let's hire a manager with no major league experience. And we're going to play. My God, they got players who are second basemen playing the outfield. We got late players in. And I think, agree to disagree if you want, but this organization cannot judge talent whatsoever. You tell me why our quote unquote everyday outfielder Ramos couldn't start a season, but we called him up. Oh, we only called him up because there was an injury and he stuck. And then what about we had everybody calling one way or the other. Eldridge stays down and gets his bats, or Eldridge comes up and starts the season. So what does he do? He starts the season in AAA, and then they call him up. And then they go pit. Oh, we can't have him. We can't send him in to bat against lefties who have quality stuff. But we'll throw him yesterday against another lefty. I agree with you. It's a mess. They try to reinvent the wheel. They have to be different than everybody else, and it's turning out to be a circus.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I mean, this is the manifestation of having somebody, the most important person in your entire baseball operations, have zero experience in the job that he holds, which I have maintained strongly, and I think is being proven on the daily. Anyone who doesn't believe this, just look at where the Giants are at and tell me that this isn't the case. Director of baseball operations is the toughest job in all of sports. the level of detail and the level of knowledge and the level of nuance and the level of preparation and just, I don't know, there's not enough hours in the day to do that job effectively. You have to delegate. You have to have really, really good people around you who are capable of also doing your job, which he does not have at all. And then you have a man, okay, well, then let's even take it a step further. So you don't have a great front office, right? Because you kept around Farhan second fiddles who, were doing such a bang up job that you fired their boss. You put in someone with no major league experience. Say what you will about Farhan, at least the bottom of the roster was always looking okay. And then you bring in Buster Posey on this, whim, this PR belief that you would be able to bring in big time free agents. And turns out you just are able to get second tier guys that no one else really wants at the price that they're asking for, which is kind of an incredible, trap that typical second tier markets fall into, especially when you carry yourself with a bit of smugness, to say the least, as an operation. And then, okay, so let's just skip the front office. Fine. Well, now you have a manager with zero experience too, and zero cachet in the clubhouse. And it's like, how would anyone have expected this to work other than they lucked into an incredible assemblage of talent that really doesn't need to be coached and really doesn't need to have strategy? Well, they didn't have that. They don't have anything close to that. And frankly, they have more talent than their record should indicate. I don't need to go full Kenny Atkinson Cavaliers here and be like, well, they should actually only be like 4 or 5 games under. If they just had a bullpen, they'd be around 500. That's malarkey. But they're not as bad as the Rockies, who are willingly bad, right? Like, they're not that bad. Like, they're not trying to be this bad. But when you don't have a plan and you don't have people who can think on their feet at the highest level, in the clubhouse level, and you have a bunch of players who are either on the downslope of their careers or just in the nascent portion of their careers, and that's being generous to the potential of the young guys, or at least the inexperienced guys on the team. Like, what does that leave you with? It leaves you with a team that finds ways to lose and takes negative momentum and compounds it. Whereas when you watch good teams, they find ways to win. Okay, maybe too overt, but even more so than that, when they get a little bit of a good thing, they turn it into a lot of a good thing. They might not be the most talented, they might not be the best put together operation, but they have an ideal, they have an identity. And what they do is they latch on to something that's good and they spam the bejesus out of it. And they turn, one hit into two, and a double into a triple, and they just keep the chain moving because they can believe in something collective. And this is a team of a bunch of mercenaries that no one seems to want to be around. They have absolutely negative aura, as the kids would say.
The aura Foreman.
You got Eeyore over at first base. You got Chapman over at third, angry at everybody, including himself. And then you have Willie Damas grab-assing with anybody who wants to have a conversation with them. Those are your team leaders. And the manager, who has no major league experience, is supposed to keep these guys, who are worth more than $300 million combined, maybe even $500 million combined. He's supposed to keep those guys in order. I mean, this is why I felt so bad for Jonah Cox a couple of weeks ago when Devers throws this tantrum. Like, this is the major leagues. What am I supposed to be doing here? Like, what are we talking about here? And if the Giants aren't careful, the good things that they might have in these young players are going to get spoiled. Not in the sense of they'll get everything they want, but they're not going to learn how to win at the major league level, because the veterans who have gotten paid, and everyone is going to look up to as they've been there, done that, that's why they got their money. They're going to follow that leadership and think, oh, this is the way that the job is done at the major league level. And now we're going to be in this cycle perpetually. And they'll always be climbing uphill, even when someone tilts the scales in their favor. This is what happens when you put inexperienced people in the most difficult positions in all of sports.
And you know what's funny? I was so excited when they hired Buster Posey. Again, I was fed up with Farhan. And they brought in Buster, right? Yeah, it was. And then I was like, okay, Buster Posey is a smart guy and everything. But again, and that's my fault. I should have known better. You called it from the very beginning. You know, hey, this could be a problem, hiring a guy with absolutely zero experience at the executive level. And I think we're seeing it play out before us. And look, one thing that you want to bring up, Brian Sabean, right? What is the one thing Brian Sabean did that was awesome? He surrounded himself with some people that he could rely on and as you said, you talked about delegation. He could delegate some of these duties to some of his trusted advisors, Ned Colletti and Dick Tidrow being a couple. Right. I mean, and they were able to cook, so to speak. Buster
But
Posey.
Sabian also came in with a tremendous amount of experience as well.
Absolutely.
He had been in every situation, and
Mhm.
he was a logical person to be promoted into such a job. And obviously, the job
Yes.
that he was initially hired for wasn't the job that he ultimately ended up with because of the way that the structure of baseball changed. But the idea that Brian Sabian was in any way ill prepared when he took the job with the Giants is completely laughable, and there'd be no one who would
Correct.
make such an accusation. There's always growing into a new job and learning it, but the idea of like it's as if you said, oh, well, Shohei Ohtani is really really good at pitching and really really good at hitting. I bet he could be a great hockey player. And you tossed him on the Sharks, and you said you're our top line, you're our main blue guy. You're going to be, quarterback in the power play, and you're going to be our number one penalty killer. But you're a great athlete, right? Like you could totally do that. I mean, Buster Posey is a sharp guy. That's why he wears
Mhm.
the absolute hangdog face anytime you see him, and because he knows he's smart enough to understand that this is going horribly, and there's not much reason to believe that it's going to get any better anytime soon. I will give the Giants front office some credit in this. They have helped build up a farm system. I'd also like to note that there was literally only one direction the farm system could have gone in from where they took it, or where they took over. So yeah, congratulations. But they have done some nice shrewd business, particularly that in Latin America, and we'll see what manifests from that. I mean, if you think about Giants prospects over the years, maybe we shouldn't get our hopes up too high. But there's the Marco Luciano of it all. But it's it, I remember when that happened, talking to people that I really really trust their opinion when it comes to baseball, and being like, how does this work? And every one of them to a T said it doesn't. It doesn't. There's no way that you can catch up. The learning curve is too steep. He's showing up to a race and he's 6 laps down. Even if he was the greatest director of baseball operations known to man, the most talented person to ever occupy a chair in that regard, you're not making up 6 laps. And that,
Mhm.
arbitrary number, ridiculous analogy, all that. But you're not making up that kind of lappage because you just don't have any experience. Chris Young is held up as well. He was a player and now he's a director of baseball. He was working in a front office for like a decade
Mm.
before he got that job. He'd been in it. Buster Posey's entire director of baseball operations experience was, and to be explicit here, ownership calling him up because they didn't like that Farhan wasn't able to sign Matt Chapman to a 7-year contract, and that he wanted to put caveats on it and give outs and maybe cover the Giants' butts a little bit. And they didn't like how Farhan wasn't getting the job done because they really, really needed people to believe that people wanted to sign with the San Francisco Giants. And so they sent in Buster Posey, who then properly got on all fours and said, give, whatever you want, you can have, Scott Boras. And they gave him 7 years, full guarantee, full no trade clause. I could have finished that contract if that was the mandate from ownership. Give them whatever they want to sign. What is the negotiation there? But he gets the job done. And again, it was good PR for a day because Chapman was having a good season going into that. But it's a guy who had experience in the Bay Area, didn't enjoy his time in Toronto, understandably, because he's a streaky hitter and they held him to account. And saw a payday and saw a team that was going to give him that payday. And when you look at everyone else, you go, I don't know if I'm going to get that payday from anybody but the Giants because they're desperate to keep somebody around. Again, that's his experience. His experience was doing what Farhan Zaidi wouldn't do because Farhan Zaidi was actually looking out for the team. And in retrospect, even more so. And that's what got Farhan fired. That was the final straw for ownership with Farhan. And it was the only reason that Buster Posey ended up getting the gig because he goes, oh, this is fun. Yeah, well, it's not so fun when actually the responsibility falls on you and you got worked over by somebody who should have no right to work you over in that regard, and that has followed through by doing the exact same thing time and time again. All they do is press buttons. There's a big board in front of them with a million options, and they are just like my 3 or my 1-year-old, just blindly pressing buttons and seeing if something works. And then when they do have something to work, boy, do they get the machine going, telling everyone how smart they are. And meanwhile, they've pressed 42 other buttons and the machinations that come from those. It's not like they were dummy buttons. Those other buttons, when they were just pressing them randomly, there are effects of that. And because they can't see it, because they don't have the experience and they don't have the foresight, and they're just hoping and praying that people like them for the next day, they love getting that PR machine going anytime they get a win, even if it doesn't actually pan out to be a long-term win. It's just a short-term gain. And then they have no understanding of those 42 other buttons that they pressed actually going to come to fruition at some point, just not in the immediacy, or something that they can't even see in the immediacy. And now they're wondering why it is that they find themselves in such a hole. Not just, oh, bad season, chalk it up, go get them next year, but like, oh boy, do we have to make some very serious decisions about the future of this baseball team, decisions that frankly they're ill-equipped to even properly make, and two, ownership will probably never let them make.
Hey,
I think
Lou.
Buster's kind of fly by nighty too. He's a little fly by nighty because we talked about it on the show last night. I brought up the fact that, or maybe Eric did, and we discussed it. Don't forget, at 10 games under 500 last year, he decides, I'm going to give the manager more money and then send him packing.
100%.
Come on, man. And I think the Giants ownership are quite lucky to be in this market where they're not everybody, before the chat explodes, not everybody's not a true fan, but they put fannies in the seats over there for this lackluster crap product. And we get fans in here, real fans, who some of them say, yeah, but Logan Webb is must-see TV. I said, they're not lining up at the ticket window buying tickets because Logan Webb is pitching. You're kidding yourself. You're fooling yourself. We're going to talk, hopefully, about Logan Webb. You said you were a Chicago White Sox. Maybe we'll jump into it. You're a Chicago fan.
Yeah.
A Chicago fan. Why are they better now? Because they traded an ace pitcher and went young.
Well, let's flip it the other way real fast. So I'm a White Sox fan, a lifelong White Sox fan, something I haven't really put out there all that much over the last few years, but I'm very happy to do so right now. But you knew that the years were lean, right? You can sell two things in this world of sports. You can sell hope or you can sell wins. The Giants are selling neither right now. And at least when your team is overtly bad, they're overtly bad for a reason. Now that reason doesn't always pan out. And the White Sox are actually a pretty good example of this, right? They had sort of a golden generation right around the turn of the decade with Moncada and so many other players, Tim Anderson, and they think they got one playoff series out of all of that, and then they had to blow it up again. So I don't wish a rebuild upon anybody, but at a certain point you got to look in the mirror and say, okay, we're going to lose expensive or we're going to lose cheap. At least if we lose cheap, we can build up some guys into something that's appreciable and positive in the future. The White Sox made that decision twice. And this time we're hoping, at least I'm hoping, that there's some real staying power with that. They also made a shrewd move in getting Murakami, but apparently he's not even necessary for them to win. All that to say, the flip side of all of it, I'm not a Cubs fan. I despise the Cubs because the Cubs, my entire life up until 2016, were the lovable losers. And as much as we like to pretend as if this isn't the case, we do outsource a little bit of our self-worth to our baseball teams, our sporting teams. And the last thing that I ever want to be perceived as, though I very much might be, I'll never be considered lovable. So I guess this is an immediate knock. They were the lovable losers. They were content with stinking on the daily. And the reason that they were content with stinking on the daily is because ownership was absent, but even more so than that, they were filling up the ballpark. They were getting buses of people in from Iowa. If you came to Chicago, which is a big tourism city in the summer, as you'd imagine, it's, we got to go to Wrigley. Wrigley is this beautiful ballpark, this and that, a little Americana. You got to do it. And so they could be the worst team in baseball year after year, or certainly a terribly disappointing team year after year. And they'd have the same attendance no matter what. And every now and again, like every team, they'd luck into 2021 Giants. They'd luck into something, kind of cosmic and special and inexplicable. And when that happened, the ballpark would be totally filled and Cubs mania would be taking over the city and make me puke on a daily basis. The Giants are currently carrying the hallmark of lovable loserdom. They got a beautiful ballpark. They have a city that people want to come to in the summer. They're the only team in the market.
Yep.
They had some hand in that. And so it doesn't matter if they're good, bad, indifferent, or 15 games under 500 on a consistent basis. They're going to put 27, 28, 29,000 in the seats every day. If it's a weekend, it's going to be 35 to 40, depending on how nice the weekend is. And it never rains. And what the people are still buying the expensive beer and buying the bad sandwiches and buying going out, and the people are queuing up left, right, and center to take in this product, because it's basic. They've divested themselves in so many ways from the thing that matters, which is wins and losses. They've just become a tourism attraction. They've just become the lovable loser Cubs. And I see no reason why they would flip over the apple cart. Like,
Right. Why ruin a good thing? Right.
why ruin a good thing? Pride? Well, yeah, maybe you shouldn't use that term.
Don't
with
use
this
that word around here.
organization.
Nope.
Yeah, but like self-respect, like ownership group. Here's the other fun part about ownership. I mean, it's like 74 different people. And the old chemist's adage, the best solution for pollution is dilution. So if anyone does have some self-respect, guess what? You split that up over 74. There's going to be plenty of people who go, I've made a ton of money. What do I need to care about? I got 3 World Series rings hanging out in some safe deposit box. The hell do I need to care? I won. I've proven I'm a winner. And by the way, no one's going to pin this on me. They'll pin it on the Johnsons for as long as they can. They'll pin it on Buster, and they'll just go through scapegoats left, right, and center. And this is the same thing that happened with the Cubs. It's tragic. It's tragic that no one seems to care. And I'll say this, and I'll leave it at this. Certainly, you come at me for this one, but there are still people who are deeply adamant in this fan base that everything's a-okay.
Oh, we know.
And it's like,
We're aware.
what? I'm sorry. What have we been watching? I don't want to. I'm not even trying to be reactionary or a prisoner of the moment. This stunk before this year. This was awful last year and the year before that. And everyone goes, well, what about 21? Oh, you mean the exception that proves the rule? Logan Webb has pitched for this team for 8 years. People hold up Logan Webb like he's it's certainly a forever Giant, because the threshold for that is basically, did you show up to the ballpark one day? And that's fine. Honestly, they're kind of in on the bit, so I appreciate it. But Logan Webb has pitched for this team for 8 years. Okay. He's a supposed leader in the clubhouse, someone that everybody respects. He has pitched 2 playoff games in 1 playoff series. Okay. So at what point is there accountability for that? Oh, well, we couldn't put that on him. Okay, well, then why are we holding him up to be something so sacred that you couldn't possibly move him for a hall of all halls right now? Like, why is Logan Webb untouchable if he's either he's appreciably made your team better and has led by example and lifted all boats, or he's just a pitcher? It can't be both.
Right.
Got it.
And I find the cognitive dissonance on that to be just astounding. And ultimately, I ask this of every fan. Do you actually care about the team, and do you want them to win? Or do you just want to be told sweet nothings? Because someone will lie to you for free. But sometimes the truth hurts. There's a difference between being kind and being nice. A nice person will just tell you whatever you want to hear, and you'll feel good for a second. A kind person will tell you what you need to hear, and you'll be better for it. It's if you have something in your teeth, a nice person would say, no, your smile looks great. But a kind person would say, you got something in your teeth. Which one do you want to be surrounded by? And it seems to me as if a lot of Giants fans, and this is a symptom of this market, frankly, a lot of people just want to hear the nice things and don't want people to be kind. But I actually give a damn on if the San Francisco Giants are a winning baseball team or not. And I definitely give a damn that the people in my community, and the people across California, it's a massive fan base, a massive region that they have all to themselves now and have had effectively for years, are wasting their money on this product, frankly, bankrolling more of this. I mean, I can't even call it mediocrity anymore. And it's just this collective delusion that wouldn't fly most anywhere else, but did fly for a very long time in the place that I grew up with, and I detested it from birth. And I can't believe it's followed me here and taken on a new form. Insidious stuff.
Lou, go for it, man.
Well, first of all, for you guys don't know about Dieter. Dieter wrote an article the day after Buster was hired.
Yeah.
And literally, he was the most wanted man in the world.
Yeah. People are still
Everybody
after me for that
absolutely
one.
hated him. And the reason why I know that is one of our colleagues who does another show, Dan, had you on. So I listened to it because I'm in San Francisco where I don't even know how to even get the Chronicle anymore, right? You work for San Jose Mercury News.
Yeah,
You
East Bay Times all
basically
day.
stated exactly sort of what I thought. I wasn't on the Buster juice. I was sort of like, I thought maybe Larry Bear said, hey, you own 2% of the team. Take a sacrifice for 3 years. We'll give you an additional 2%. Because remember, he retired because he just adopted 2 girls. He wanted to spend time with his family. So it was just sort of tricky. So first of all, I want to commend you because you were probably one of 10 that actually thought it was a bad move. So I'm going to give you props because I know everyone's against you. And I hope now people are back with their knee pads kissing your ass because you were actually right.
It's a prodigious ass.
I'm going to let you know, Dieter, what happened to me last year. So I have season tickets. Eric and Glenn have been sat in my seats. Last year, I won when we had Duvall still as our closer or 8th inning guy. We were playing the Yankees. 2 years ago. And he came in. The Giants were up 5-2. He gave up 4 runs. His stat was like a third of an inning, gave up 4 runs, hit 2 guys. It was ugly. So where we sit, we actually have seats right next to the dugout. So I got up and I said, what the hell is wrong with you? You just blew this game, you son of a bitch. Right? So literally, I was furious. And then a cop came over and says, hey, I need you to calm down. I go, no, these are my seats. Nobody went over to Duvall. He wasn't even upset. He was speaking Spanish, so he didn't care. Nobody said a word. I go, this is a disgrace. So another season ticket holder or a guy said, hey, I want you to sit. I go, no, man, we just lost this game. How are you guys not pissed? Oh, it's only a game. And I go, you guys are all idiots. And I got escorted out because I spoke my mind. And I think one of the things you talk about is and then also the Giants, when you were a season ticket holder, they offered you a jersey, right? A jersey if you paid early. So I went to the dugout store and I said, hey, can I get a jersey? Yes. Okay. You're a season ticket holder. And I got it. And I put Fire Farhan and they wouldn't do it. I go, why not? I go, you guys do Snot Rocket. Right? When Mad Bum pitched, he goes, we can't do that. He's an employee of the team. I go, that's a joke. I don't want the goddamn uni. And I just threw it back. Yeah. That's the problem with the Giants is too many people are still living what happened a decade ago. And as I said on this show a lot, since Larry Bear got caught having the affair on opening day, it's been a disaster. And the biggest problem with the Giants is it doesn't matter. If you're part of the Giants family, you get away with everything. He was given a slap on the wrist, go to Beverly Hills for 4 months, come back, write an apology, and that's it. Yeah. And then it went behind. It's the same thing. The other thing about the Giants being a season ticket holder, at one time, we had probably 17,000. We're down to like 5,200. I mean, I don't know if you saw the new ad the other day now. Buy a ticket and get a beer for $19 because they can't advertise the ticket's so cheap. So they're coming out trying to be creative. It is so out of control. And being a season ticket holder, the thing about being a season ticket holder is you used to be able to pay 4 different installments. They don't do that anymore. It's just one. You have to pay literally October 1st for the next year. Okay. And if you paid a 5-year agreement, your money would only go up 1.5%. The last 2 years, without our knowledge, 4.5% with a losing product. This year it went up 7%. And what they do is you get a bill and the bill, it's like, wait a minute, you guys didn't even tell us. It was sort of the same thing when they finally put up the net, which they had to do because so many people were getting injured. They told season ticket holders 2 days before the game, hey, just so you know, there's a new net. What do you mean there's a new net? I mean, people go and they're furious. So I think a lot of problems, and really the common thing is Larry Bear, right place, right time. The guy, he saved the Giants. He didn't. He was in the right place at the right time. Okay?
Yeah.
And the problem with the Giants is right now, all they have is the Valkyries to worry about. as competition. The A's are gone, and they're very happy making money being in the real estate company, being a real estate
boy,
builder.
are they.
That's it.
I mean,
That's
100%.
all they care about.
100%. I mean,
And-
the real estate thing, you know as well as I do. You probably know more than I do. But the real estate thing, it's like once you start seeing some of the numbers and stuff, when they
I bet.
you get a little bit of a look at the books,
Yeah.
and you're like, what is even the point of operating a baseball team anymore? Just send
Right.
this thing down to single A. You've already made it, and this is where
Yeah.
ownership comes in.
The stadium's
It ain't
paid for.
Stadium's paid for.
Yeah.
They own 75% of waterfront property in San
Yeah.
Francisco. I mean,
Nuts.
it's unbelievable. They're very good at that. I
Yeah.
wish they were 10% as good at making
Yeah.
a baseball team work as they were at buying up San Francisco real estate. And you know what? A credit to them on that, right? Like, obviously, we're several iterations away from there, but there's still a lot. And it's so funny,
Well, Dieter, what I wanted to ask
Yeah.
you, first of all, I wanted to commend you on your article because
you.
it did get a lot of heat, and I know
Yeah, I did
everyone
it.
was against you because it was the day after, right? The Buster announcement. You were like, what is
Day
going
of
on
and
here?
day after.
Day of,
yeah.
okay. So I want to
doubled
commend
down.
you on that. Is this rock bottom?
No.
I don't think so
Still
either.
no. Okay.
No, I will say it's funny. They've been now 15 under 4 times in the last like 5-6 weeks. Never 16 though. Never 16. 16 would be rock bottom. This was a team that, let's not forget, at the beginning of this month was in last place in the National League West. It was for a day, but they were in last place. The Rockies. It's just, come on. They haven't beaten the Diamondbacks yet. They've played 8 games.
8.
They have not beaten the Diamondbacks yet. Though I will have, some national reporters being like, well, actually, the Diamondbacks spend a lot of money. Well, how's that? Don't see any of it on the field. Oh boy, they took some of Nolan Arenado's cash, and 2 of the pitchers that they've paid have, royally sucked. Congratulations on spending some money. Meanwhile, the Giants are getting absolutely wrecked by Marte, who's been there forever, and Corbin Carroll and all that. Like, they're just a better run operation, and they're kind of winging it too. Is this rock bottom? No, because there's levels deeper that Adames and Devers and Chapman can get to. This might be their high points. And they're not going anywhere. And if you're paying that kind of money, they're going to be in the lineup every day. And so this is what happens when there's not a cohesive, logical plan that adheres to any semblance of history. There's no baseball team that I can recall. I would presume that you guys have better knowledge about this than I do. But there's no baseball team that I can recall that had like 3, 4, let's call it with Webb, extremely highly paid players. Okay? And credit to all of them, you are what the market says you're worth. 4 extremely highly paid players, and then almost no middle class whatsoever of paid players, and then just rotating through a bunch of kids. Okay, there's no team that's done that without having like 3 Hall of Fame caliber players, and then you can put whoever the hell you want around them because the baseball team's going to be awesome. I mean, a baseball team is the most team of all sports, right? Even your best batter is going to bat just as often as the guy who precedes him and follows him in the lineup, 99 times out of 100. So that's what makes Ohtani so special. Not only is he the best hitter, but he's also a Cy Young caliber pitcher. That's
Right.
mind explode. Meanwhile, the Spurs get Victor Wembanyama, and you can throw anyone you want around them, and they're going to win basketball games. One dude can make that kind of a difference. Steph can make that kind of a difference. All this, LeBron, though maybe not current LeBron, and we'll get into that later. But this was a fundamentally flawed model to begin with. It doesn't make any sense. And I know it doesn't make any sense because of the way that they hired managers. It was this constant, and this is what happens in the NFL all the time. So I don't want to pretend as if this is, complete malpractice, but they have Gabe Kapler, right? Farhan's handpicked guy. and an extension of Farhan Zaidi in the clubhouse. But Gabe Kapler weirded everybody out and was deeply insecure. And again, I cannot express to you enough how he weirded everybody out. Just bad juju off of that dude. But was an outstanding manager in executing the vision of the front office, which was comprehensive and steadfast, even if we all probably disagreed with it. He did not sell a false bill of goods at all to ownership. You knew exactly what you were getting with Farhan. I think that the Giants got a little too big for their britches and wanted more than that in, getting a big time superstar for marketing purposes and such. But in terms of what Farhan was selling to ownership, like that he followed through on that. And then ownership decided that, that wasn't good enough. So they fire Gabe. This is still Farhan, obviously. And they hire Bob Melvin, who is the exact opposite of Gabe Kapler, right? He's going to kind of do his things, kind of an old school manager, right? Somebody who, has a lot of respect around the league, is an easy hang. No one has a bad word to say about Bob Melvin, the person. He's an unbelievable dude. And they needed that the year after they fired Gabe, because Gabe was so tightly wound and everybody followed through. And when that thing cracked, it exploded. And so they needed someone to go in and just kind of be like, no, we're good. Everything's fine, guys. Like, it's fine. And it was fine. They got back to exactly where they were the prior year, right? 81 and 81. They found that water level again. And then, this last year, he's fallen asleep on the front row of the dugout. I mean, he was just a bystander. He was like you, Saul. He had the exact same seats. He was just watching the game. I mean, it was unbelievable. They were paying him to be there. It was a great gig. I mean, but Buster's in charge, and Buster didn't want to make too many waves until actually he did, because, well, now actually I need to do something here. And so Buster, again, going back to the Buster hire, I would have been so much kinder to the possibility of it working had they also introduced a GM that day.
That's fair.
This man has zero experience, and they thought that would be fine. And you know what? Frankly, they were right in that no one seemed to say anything except me and I suppose 9 other people. I'd sure like to meet him. We should probably get a support group together. But the fact that they went up there and they just said, Buster has full autonomy. He can do whatever he wants. And then when I asked who's going to be his number 2, they're like, we're looking into it. And I start making calls, and they're like, no one's going to take that job. No one's taking the number 2 job to work under Buster Posey, who can't be fired because he's part of ownership and was handed this job without any sort of a search for any other possibilities. No one's going to take that job because they're going to get all the blame and none of the credit. And at a certain point, there are egos involved, as we all have. You're going to get all the blame and none of the credit. But you know who would take that job? Zach Maniason, because he was never getting that kind of a GM job anyway. And so he took that job with spades. I don't have to move. I get a nice little pay grade. I get to basically do the job, but sure, I'll get all the blame and none of the credit. But maybe I'm good enough at this, and maybe I can change that paradigm. But no one from the outside was taking that job, and there were not that many interested parties, from what I understand, about taking that job. And they ended up with Maniason, and it's like, if you had shown up the day that you introduced Buster Posey, and you say, and here's Zach Maniason, the GM, I actually think, maybe I'm giving people too much credit, they would have been like, wait a minute, what the hell? This is the best you could come up with? Why didn't you have a process? Why wasn't there a search? Even hire one of those fraud search firms. How did you not interview anybody else and just end up with these guys handpicked? Like, that's unacceptable. You're going to keep the entire front office in effect, except for the guy who manage that entire front office, and you're going to put in someone with no baseball experience to operate at least something that has some gears on the machinery that work. What happens when that machinery stops working? He can't fix it, and that's where we're at. But they have Bob Melvin in the dugout, and he's falling asleep. So what do? You go the exact opposite way, and they might as well have just plugged into ChatGPT, who's the fieriest man in baseball. And here's Tony Vitello. And listen, I had no opinion on if it would work or not. I did know that it was going to be interesting, And I stand by that point. This has been an exceptionally interesting team, but this is, again, what happens when you have no experience and you're just trying to win the PR game on a day-to-day basis. PR does nothing on the diamond. In fact, I would prefer all the negative PR if you win. Handle it. I mean, those are kind of the most fun teams in the world. The teams that you can't seem to get anything right off the field, are constantly fighting with each other, but damn if they don't win. I mean, I live in Alameda. I'm surrounded by Raiders stuff that all emanated from the fact that they were, the Outlaws or whatever. Like that's good marketing right there. This team has nothing to latch onto that's enjoyable and has no direction to find anything like that. And frankly, a fan base that either isn't critical enough. I mean, that goes without saying, and is just saying, it's just a baseball game. You shouldn't let it affect you. Okay, watch. Let's see how. It's like they're almost challenging those exact fans. Like, how much pain can we put you through before you finally break? And these fans are like, no, I'll go forever, baby. I can go. So they're doing that, and then on the flip side of it, like, they're just winging it. They're just absolutely winging it, and every decision they make, and the fan base is just lapping it up, because anytime something even remotely good happens, it's euphoria. Because again, you can only sell two things. You can sell wins, or you can sell hope. And the Giants are currently selling neither of them. And so fans they can't make up the wins, but they can overreact to them. And they can manufacture hope out of almost nothing these days, because desperation creates some pretty ingenious people when it comes to stuff like that. And that's where we're at.
Yeah. Dieter, I have a question. Sorry.
Sure.
Remember one thing, Giants baseball, nothing like it. For the fifth year in a row, he can't even come up with a new slogan.
There sure as hell isn't nothing like it.
I tell you what, let's get into this, because I know a lot of people are wanting to talk about it. We've been talking about it on a daily basis. Trade deadlines coming up. Yeah. Buster Posey in that scrum says Logan Webb is untouchable.
No.
I'm not going to buy it. That's it. That again, that's me.
Oh, I buy it.
You think so? You think they're not going to trade him? You think, okay, here's the question. You think they should trade him? Maybe we'll go that direction for the simple fact. Okay, let me put it to you this way, Dieter. In these next 2 years, are the Giants going to win?
No.
Then why keep Logan Webb? Do you see what I'm saying?
Shouldn't.
Because you shouldn't. Right.
I made this exact point in the column a week ago, and I wasn't the first to bring it up, but I do think I put it most eloquently. But no, it's laughable, because the other thing too is we have to remember with Logan Webb how bad it was at the beginning of the year, and how lost he looked. Yeah. And he looked like he didn't trust his defense behind him, which to his credit, he shouldn't have. And he was, trying to be a strikeout pitcher again, because he got away with it for a couple of years. He had 25% more stolen strikes than anybody else in baseball the 3 years prior to this one. And ABS took it away like that. Just took it away. And now he's like, oh, I'm not getting free strikes anymore. I need to overthrow everything. And I don't trust my defense behind me. And we saw what that looked like. Now, a credit to Logan Webb. Started calling his own games, whether, by choice or his own mandate. I still am not to the bottom of that one. And he just went back to throwing the way that he threw, I would say, like 3-4 years ago, which is sinker down and in, sinker down and in, sinker down and in. And damned if it doesn't work, because it got you that far. But, the other thing about Logan Webb, he really liked being known as a strikeout guy. I reinvented myself as a strikeout guy. That's the big thing. He got a lot of attention for that. Oh, Logan Webb's the one good thing the Giants got going for him. He's a strikeout guy. And then, push came to shove. It turns out that he was kind of getting by on Crook and Hook. And, then so credit to him, when he comes back from the injured list, he leaned into what he is truly good at. He has pitched magnificently over the last 4 or 5 starts. And I think that any front office in baseball would understand that pitchers cannot be trusted inherently. The rupture point of a UCL is lower than the average velocity if we're looking at some force stuff. I mean, they are temporary inherently. This guy has more miles than anybody in baseball over the last 8 years. And if I'm the Giants, I am worried sick. Every day could be the last one. I think that with every pitcher, but with him in particular, I'm thinking, is this the day? Is this the day? Is this the day? Especially when he's overthrowing stuff early in the season. And I'm looking at the way that he's bounced back from this, and I say, oh man, we are so lucky because we got no shot in hell to win these next couple of years. And that would require some reality and some actual foresight and all these things that the Giants have shown no actual ability to display, much less actually have. But they should be looking at this and going, oh my God, we are the luckiest boys in all the world, because the Atlanta Braves have one starting pitcher on their roster right now that they can trust. And yet for a while, I'm sure it's not the case anymore because they're floundering big time, had the best record in baseball. The Philadelphia Phillies are in the ultimate we have to win now mode and are 2 starting pitchers short, having already cut Taijuan Walker. The Toronto Blue Jays are in the middle of a fight and are looking and saying, I don't know if we trust our guys here. We shouldn't have gone with Max flipping Scherzer. And all 3 of those teams can offer you a top 20 prospect, a top 80 prospect, and basically anybody else you want, because Logan Webb has 2.5 years more of team control, which makes him extremely valuable. And again, this again requires the context of, you should go ask Scott Harris, who, by the way, was the brains behind the Farhan operation. And guess what fell apart the second Scott Harris left? Go ask Scott Harris in Detroit if he wishes he had traded Tariq Skubal last year. He'll tell you, yeah.
Yeah.
And they had to sweat it out this year. And frankly, I don't even think Skubal's all the way back. I know he had 9 strikeouts tonight, but he does not even look like prime Tariq Skubal coming off of this injury that, frankly, I'm pretty sure he tore UCL, and he's just going to get to free agency, and we'll find out on the other end of it once he gets paid. Because, again, like, it's such a strange, bizarre handling of that injury for all parties involved. They're definitely going to trade him now, but they're not going to get the same haul they would have gotten a year ago or 2 years ago. And all for what? That's a Tigers team that actually has made the damn playoffs. Well, what are the Giants holding on to? And it comes back to what I've been saying, again and again and again. And I know that I come across as a bit redundant and repetitive, but like, they are so obsessed with marketing and PR, and they don't want the bad day of PR of they traded away a Northern California kid who wants to be here. They don't want it. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. And I can tell you exactly why I know they can't handle it, because I was going in hard on them for something or another because they deserved it. And then, a day later, they signed Logan Webb to a 5-year contract. And I got 3 emails and 5 calls and countless text messages from people in the Giants saying, like, oh, you happy now? Oh, I'm sorry. I was, it almost made me feel, and it's a ridiculous notion. It's not true, but it's a ridiculous. It almost made me feel like it was a direct response to a column I wrote that they gave Logan Webb a 5-year contract. Like, they were so defensive about it as an organization that they're like, are you happy now? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, good signing. Like, I appreciate it. Like, ridiculous. They're obsessed with how they're perceived externally. They cannot stand right now that there are people out here actually calling out what's happening. And I say the same thing every time I get on the phone or I'm texting with one of them. What facts did I get incorrect? They never come up with any. Mm-hmm. And what context do I not have that would have helped me better contextualize the situation as I did? And they say a bunch of stuff, but none of them is actually useful context. They just want you to say nice things about them. They just want everyone to pretend like everything's hunky-dory and everything will bounce back next year. It's just a bad year. Sometimes luck, baseball, things like this. It ain't that. This is worse. This is foundational.
Well, Dieter, it's funny. We talked about that yesterday, right, Glenn? I'll kick it right back to you. We talked about it. I was like, how bad is this season? Is it colossal? Is it just a bad year? I mean, we're not at 500. We're not even at 5 games under 500. We're talking about 15 games under 500. It's a colossal
the second
failure.
Worst team in baseball.
Yep. Glenn, go for it, man.
No, I didn't even know they had a public relations department until I met some guy out in front by Willie Mays Plaza there on opening day. And we didn't get off to great terms because I said, he says, are you excited about the season? I said, 72-win team.
Yeah.
72 wins. And I said that from the preseason, Eric. You know that? And I'm going to be pretty damn close. Nobody believed me, but they're starting to buy into it.
You might have overrated them.
I said, well, maybe overrated. I said, what is going on? I said, I didn't know you guys had a department because, like, what Lou brought it up.
Yeah.
Giants baseball, nothing like it. I said,
Yeah.
are you guys just lazy?
Yeah.
Or, like, I
They've
don't
kept it around for a while too, right?
understand it.
No,
What is
5
like,
straight years. They haven't changed the slogan.
how can you not change the slogan and new marketing? Every other market has cool commercials. I never see Giants commercials. Even the product on NBC Bay Area. If I hear "bum, bum, bum, bum" again on this NBC network, I hate that song now. But my question I wanted to throw at you, you talk about how the Giants do not like, I understand when you work for the organization because I've been there 18 years.
Yeah.
And when I did play-by-play, the worst thing I could do when we're losing 8-1 in the third period was to criticize the team. Oh,
Right.
buy your tickets for Friday night when we start our homestand. Oh, all is good. That was what I was paid to do.
Right.
My question now, I see you're doing a lot of work over at KNBR, more so now than ever before, frankly.
Seems like it. Yeah.
My question is, do you see a change in the landscape of the local broadcast scene? Because in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, it's the first time that I have ever seen in the Bay Area the local media are starting to turn and call a spade and not sugarcoat the whole situation.
Well, when you're this bad, there's almost nothing to lose by actually telling the truth. This is the plight of anybody who's ever been in the actual journalism realm. Sports in politics is like, I think I've only operated truly professionally in the sports realm. I've moonlighted in other departments to be sure, but access is so important, and everyone's constantly concerned about, it's the lifeblood of journalism, being able to tell stories or whatever, being able to get information that no one else can have. You have to have access to that. And in that, they can hold you ransom, right? If an organization is the one giving you access and feeding you these little things that, make it so that you look like you're super plugged in. Well, now you're going to be less critical of the operation, right? You're going to be careful and protect that which, puts food on the table, if that's how you perceive it. I probably, because I have never been terribly interested in putting too much food on the table. I get enough as is, as evidenced. Have made it my life goal to never need anything from anybody. And that drives people in sports absolutely insane. Puts me at a disadvantage in a lot of areas overtly, but never needing anything from anybody, particularly teams themselves, I think is extremely beneficial in times like this, because man, I don't know how you can maintain any credibility and pretend like any of this is okay, right? And have to sell this. Now you're just doing PR. I mean, they have enough of a PR department. They don't need you to do it too. But that's what it kind of turns into. Now, I will agree with your assessment that it does feel as if everyone's turning on it. Again, really easy to ride that wave right now when there's legitimately no possible opposition. And yet, you still see it, but it's like, you're ridiculous. This is so bad, so overtly bad, that you would look like a fool for not saying something about it. On the flip side of that, we're in a very bizarre, well, it's not bizarre, I think it's actually maybe terribly predictable and dire media landscape, where the relevancy of newspapers, of terrestrial radio stations, is lower than it's ever been, and it's not going to get any better from this. So what is it that the Giants hold over KNBR right now? I mean, I can tell you there's still plenty. Don't get me wrong. There's still a partnership. There's still all this stuff. But, oh no, the Giants don't like us. Well, they're a last place team, and we're a terrestrial radio station whose stock trades in the pennies. Like, let's have some fun. Let's tell the truth. Why not? There's not a lot of stakes. It's a pretty low ante game of poker that's happening right now. Same thing with newspapers. Now, I'll come back to this. I mean, when everyone was getting fat off that hog from 10 to 16, 20, whenever, and I experienced this with the Warriors to a degree. When everyone's getting fat off the hog, some real connections are made. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Everybody's having a good time. We're making honey hand over fist because you got a winning baseball team and I'm getting anything that I need from you. And what possible bad thing would I need to say about a winning baseball team, especially in a market that never wants to hear bad news? So everybody just got high off of that. But then at some point, reality hits. And at some point, the thing changes. And this is, I like to call it old San Francisco money. I mean, there's no more old San Francisco money team than the Giants, who are run by a bunch of old San Francisco money people up in Pacific Heights. And the snootiness and the pretentiousness of all of it permeates every aspect of that organization. And when everyone was making their careers off of covering the Giants, they took it in too. And it's just, this classic trope that people from outside the Bay Area love to say about, San Francisco, and how we just love the smell of our own farts. Like, boy, is it ever manifest with the San Francisco Giants when they were winning baseball games and winning World Series and doing it in kind of unconventional ways, never a powerhouse, but, the power of friendship and great manager and all this stuff. And, an organization that came up, a Phoenix organization from the ashes and all this stuff. Those old habits die hard. And I would like to think that they should all be dead by now, because we've had an extinction event effectively from whatever those salad days were. But apparently that's not the case. And I don't know how much longer that can last, but it'll be interesting to see the last holdouts of that, how they respond, because I imagine it's going to be an equal and commensurate reaction the other way around, which is going to be very loud and very fun for me to watch happen.
I gotta tell you, I think it's long overdue in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said, and it's a fine line for the journalists, right? And the radio station, the people involved. I've been down that road. I'm a big fan of the WNBA. And I mean, I don't know, you must have seen what's going on there. If you criticize an organization, they take away your press credentials. You can't write an article. You can't go on the radio show, or you're barred. You're not allowed in the stadium. They take away your press credentials, Eric. I'm not kidding you.
No, it's true.
I think at the end of the day, there's a little more
nuance to that situation.
But I think at the end of the day, the media is there to hold people accountable.
That's the idea.
The Giants got to accept that. And I don't think they've had to.
I don't think they've had to. I think that I haven't had any overt repercussions from whatever version of telling it like it is I do.
Nice. Good.
So I'll give them credit for that.
Good on you.
But again, they don't hold anything over me. Right.
That's
the only thing that they hold over me is the credential.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, it's like, oh, well, we're not going to talk to you. And yet, so many. The more I criticize, the more you want to talk to me. Isn't that so weird? It's almost as if you're being defensive. But I haven't heard anything. Now, I will say, whatever that kerfuffle was last week on the leader, that was perhaps the last vestige of soft power that the Giants still hold. In that,
is that when Larry replaced Buster?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then Larry came on and made a mealy mouth statement about whatever the hell he was talking about. And we were told specifically that I was not allowed to ask a follow-up question because I'm not a Cumulus employee. Even though I think I hold as much stock as maybe anybody now. It's a cheap buy. And then the only one who could was my co-host at the time, John Dickinson. And he was advised very strongly not to. In the meeting prior to that show, I said, we're going to look like blank holes for this. Like, I'll go along with your song and dance here, whatever. But he should give the reason why he can't answer follow-up questions, which to my understanding was, I don't want to speak on this anymore because there's a legal matter involved, a federal legal matter involved, which may or may not be true, but is a good enough thing to shut you the hell up. And I said, Larry should absolutely say that so that we don't have to do the whole song and dance of it, because we're going to look like jerks. And then, he came and his prepared statement was clearly off the cuff and he forgot his line. So we looked like jerks.
Well, I got a question.
To be fair, we were jerks on that.
He only comes on once a month. Do you
Yeah.
think because of what happened before
Yeah.
with the other two co-hosts, he was sort of blindsided or he wasn't prepared? Or, hey, I'm Buster Posey. No one's ever going to ask me a tough question. When it was about the relievers, hey, we're 12 below. I mean, come on, Buster, this is your job. And, of course, Buster's reply was, well, we who do you want? You want us to get the reliever who blew out his arm?
You wanted DS?
Yeah,
As if there
DS.
were no other options.
Yeah.
No, you should go get guys who can't even physically pitch for you for half a season or a full year. That's
Yeah.
fair play. Well, first off, I mean, he was never coming on with me. I made a lot of beer bets about that. And I'm owed many, many
So
beers.
you guys knew about it the day before, even though everyone was sort of waiting that morning. Buster's going back on after everything that happened, especially what happened a month ago, because it's only a monthly show. And if I remember
Correct.
right, doesn't KNBR pay him to come on that once a month?
I can't speak to that. I
And
don't
the
know.
contract, okay.
But yeah, to be honest with you, I wasn't surprised that Buster didn't.
No,
do that.
I was
wasn't
thrilled. I was thrilled that the digital team promoted it, because otherwise they would have gotten away with it very easily.
Nah,
And
gotcha.
because who the hell keeps track of who's on the executive show this week?
Right.
And the executive show, I've been around for a minute. The executive show used to be the GM every week, or whomever
Yes.
the top baseball decision maker was. And then if something went wrong, his number two would come on. But it was like Farhan Zaidi every week
Yep,
at this
It
time.
was.
And then when Buster took over, they switched that up. And then, and that might have been, again, I'm not in all privy to these. I'm not a Cumulus employee, anything like that. They write a paycheck to me after I send them an invoice. But it's obviously it's changed pretty significantly in the structure of that show,
Mhm.
if you will, to where now it's 4 different people. And I couldn't have thought of someone that I wanted to talk to less last Thursday or Friday, whatever day it was, than Larry Bear. Well, Larry Bear hasn't had any power in the organization since his little kerfuffle.
Correct.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he's not in the rooms where big decisions are made. He's useful in that he used to be, but you can just sense the desperation in everything that he says about how he wants to be back in some sort of a position of power where he's just another figurehead. I mean, it's like Bobby Evans is still on this team's payroll. They just have a bunch of dudes who are on the payroll and hanging around and not doing anything. And if I get one more flippant email about how's Dusty Baker helping Tony Vitello? How's Bruce Bochy helping Tony Vitello? And it's like, oh, great. So they're not doing squat. They're just there for plausible deniability. They're just there as a resource. They're just there so that the fans who aren't paying attention feel like they're actually, you could just put Dusty back in charge of this. They're just there for PR. And every now and again, they trot them out, and all the old timers feel good about it because remember a better time when those guys were in charge and this and that, and everyone feels good for a day. They're not doing a damn thing, and nor should they, frankly. Someone wants to pay you good money to do nothing. I'd take that job in a second. So they are so overdosed on themselves, and they have nothing left to stand on. They think that they just have this equity that's going to run forever and they're going to live off the dividend. And the market crashed on them. And now they're negative and underwater, and they're just refusing to admit it. And they're going to keep spending and spending and spending like they still got jobs. And it's kind of tragic when you look at it from any sort of an objective lens.
I think the problem too in the organization, guys, is the fact that, and we talked about it. We've talked about it on this show many a time. I think it trickles down from the top down to the fan base,
Big
where
time.
the fans are in love with their player.
Mhm.
He could be 0-20, but as Robert Rothberg would say, well, the team let him down today. Stop it. They bring back, we got to bring back Pablo Sandoval. And we can't trade Logan Webb. My God, face of the franchise. And, we got to fill this broadcasting role. So let's give it to Hunter Pence. And they love the family tradition. And they're afraid to get better by going out and getting real people who can do the job. I hate that.
It would because that would make the word that you used is correct there. That would make them uncomfortable. And there's a lot of, it sounds so like organized crimey, but like there's just a lot of ways that they've operated over the years that is not standard operating procedure, right? They run it the way that they run it. And it's this little cabal that they got going on. And people from the outside wouldn't understand. But when you win doing it that way, oh my God. Just the level of delusion that you can create for yourself is next level. And again, they're still operating as if actually everyone else is wrong. And it's going to come back, and it's going to come back in a big way, baby. And meanwhile, they're still wearing bell bottoms and thinking that, everything's cyclical. It's a really, really tough look. And I also fear what happens whenever the light bulb goes off of somebody who can actually do something's head, because the knee-jerkness of everything is so extreme that they might totally overcorrect. And I don't even know what that would look like. But they really do love them some them. And that is a great way to fall into a point of stasis that is irrevocable. And that's where it feels like we're at. Because again, you look at all these small market teams that are winning right now, right? And it's probably not sustainable because money still does drive this sport, as evidenced by the team to the south. But why is it that those teams consistently find ways to win when they really shouldn't, when they have lesser talent, when they can't go out and fill gaps in ways that you would want to based on, just, hey, we need this thing, go buy one. When you're always shopping on the discount rack, it's because necessity is the mother of invention. And this team has no necessity to change anything because the coffers stay full. And because the priorities are still, growing the real estate empire. Bingo. And nobody seems to really give a hoot one way or another if their baseball team is mediocre or if their baseball team is garbage, because the checks keep clearing. So what is it that what would, other than, again, strictly self-respect, make the Giants change course? And frankly, I think that they are so self-involved that self-respect is not going to be an issue for them at any point, that crashing out. So how are we not in lovable losers territory? How does this thing get better? I mean, unless we just think that, all of these kids in the farm system are just going to magically turn into great players. They got 3 guys in the Baseball America top 100 now. I mean, what are we talking about? That's fine. That's good. It's better than it was. The idea
Dodgers have 6 in the top 25.
Right. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's laughable to me that it's like, oh, well, the future is so bright. And it's like, yeah, because the present is so dim. Everything's going to look bright.
I don't even like that term anymore, too, Eric. Lovable losers. They're losers. I don't love them. I do not love them anymore.
Hey,
no,
quick,
you know what? And that's fair. That's fair. You know what? Because at least the Cubs have charm.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to make a comment and then one more question to you, Dieter, and we'll let you get going because you've been going long. We appreciate your time here.
That's what I do.
You're talking about wild swings. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Sure. 2016, right? You had Bruce Bochy as your manager. Mm-hmm. You had Brian Sabian as your GM. Mm-hmm. Then they went from Brian to Bobby Evans. Not too crazy of a swing. But then they decided Then they decided wild swing one. They went to Farhan.
Right.
They kept Bochy one more year in 2019. 2020, another wild swing. They go to Gabe Kapler, right? Well, that lasted about 4 years. And then another wild swing, you go back to Bob Melvin as the manager.
Yeah.
The following year, another wild swing to Buster Posey. Buster Posey sticks with Bob Melvin, and then another wild swing of going to Tony Vitello. So the state of the club has been in flux with wild swings all over the place, and there hasn't been no just consistency of as you say, a plan. It just seems you're throwing shit against the wall and just going to see what sticks and see if it works. And it's a terrible way to operate, because you're not going to ever get anywhere, because you're chasing instead of setting. You're chasing, and you get nowhere when you chase. Right. But if you want to elaborate, but then I was going to ask you, well, come August 4th.
Okay. Yeah.
Who is going to be off of the team on the San Francisco Giants?
I think that the bare minimum, Ray and Arise. I don't think that there's any world in which Posey can reasonably not trade them. The fact that, there's been no contract extension stuff with Arise, nor should there be, for whatever it's worth. But I know, if I get another email from somebody being like, Arise is the only good thing, we need to extend him. It's like, oh, this is the same. It may health, so I should double check. Some of them might be part owners. But it's you lucked into Luis Arise. God bless him. He's having an unbelievable season. I got to eat some crow on him. I just thought that was going to be a disaster. Can't play a lick of defense. The way that he plays baseball is, totally for the birds. And here I am. I'm going to have to eat, a bird, because I missed that one big time. Now, to be fair, there's no one who was living on this planet and was of, admittable state of mind who would have said that Luis Arise is a good defender. So all the credit in the world to Ron Washington. I would like to also note that if Ron Washington is so good, why the hell is the Giants shortstop so bad? But I digress. Because clearly Ron Washington is good. So what does it say that Willie Adames can't play a lick of short? Might have something to do with Willie Adames. I don't see the stones. I don't see any stones. Because I keep coming back to this, and it's something that actually feels rather apropos based on all this pride controversy stuff. I've been thinking about this a lot just in my personal life over the last couple of years, because I got young kids, and it comes and I talk to Steve Kerr enough to where this word comes up a lot too. What are your values, right? What is it that you truly believe, that you truly prioritize? And I'm not alleging that the Giants don't have values. I think that they do. I think that their main value is that they want to be perceived as classy. That's how they want to be perceived. That's their value. They really value classiness, kind of prestige. They want to be prestige television. They want to be viewed like the Yankees. They want to be old money. They want to be Ralph Lauren Polo, right? Brooks Brothers before some hedge fund bought them. That's their values, right? And put whatever words you want on that. And that's not the way baseball works anymore. It just isn't. Now it's all about being nimble and being smarter and being more creative and finding new ways to go about solving the same problems. And we see this with the small market teams, and we see it with the Dodgers. We see it with the good teams. And you see the teams that really suck right now. Let's just name three of them: the Red Sox, the Mets, the Giants. They all want to be perceived as something that their rivals are. They all want to be perceived as the big boys. and they are constantly chasing, like my 1-year-old chases after my 3-year-old, just copying them and doing whatever they do. But those teams that are, the torch bearers, the Yankees and the Dodgers, those teams have systems and those teams have values. And if one guy drops out, somebody else can step in and the machine keeps working, because it's not just this one, magic whimsical thing. They have built these things from the bottom up. They had an incredible leg up on everybody, but they use the advantages that they had from an old way of doing things to push them into a new way of doing things. And maybe I'm giving the Yankees too much credit, but we certainly know this is the case with the Dodgers. And what happened with the Mets? They went and they said, "Oh, we're going to just outspend everybody." How's that looking for them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how they wanted to be perceived. They wanted to be perceived as actually, we're the ones with the big checkbook, which we all know is just a very loose analogy for something else. We're the ones who are swinging it around. We're the real big dogs in this big market. The Red Sox. No, actually, we're the team that changes baseball. We're the more important team. We have the deeper tradition. We're the team that, created the analytics movement and all this stuff. One World Series with it, Theo Epstein and this and that. And the Giants are like, no, we're the classy team. We're the team with, we don't wear a white jersey. We wear a cream uniform and all this stuff. And so that's their guiding light. And I just don't know how that's going to manifest in any way into winning baseball games. Right. I legitimately have no idea how being classy is going to help anything. And frankly, I don't really see a manifestation of, that so-and-so classiness on their roster with Devers. I think Adames is a really stand-up guy. I wouldn't call him a classy baseball player. Chapman is, hot streak, cold streak. He's not, honestly, the guy who feels like the classiest baseball player is Arise. Right? Like, he's the one who stands up there and does the same thing every damn day, rain or shine. Logan Webb, very emotional kind of player, not that classic stoicism. So again, I just come back to, like, what are their values? And I don't see values that align with how to win in modern baseball. I see, again, a desire to be perceived in a way, but not an organization that wants to walk the walk to actually get to that point. And so long as they're perceived as a classy organization, they're covered. But to be a classy organization, as they unquestionably, by the way, were when they were winning World Series. So we kind of got a little bit of a confirmation bias there. Bruce Bochy, classy manager. Bob Melvin. I mean, I will go back on the transcript now that I'm kind of, talking this out. I guarantee in that opening press conference when Bob Melvin got announced, that ownership called him classy. Like one of the classiest guys in baseball. This is what they think about. This is what the people who actually truly call the shots when push comes to shove. We're not talking about the guy coming up on the taxi squad. We're not talking about, do we trade Camilo Doval? When push comes to shove, when you actually are making a decision that has serious weight,
or the image,
and you got to call them up. They're talking about image. They're talking about how it's going to look. And it's why they get so upset when anyone calls them anything other than classy. It's why, and it's why this past week they are just doing the infomercial fumble all over themselves PR wise, because they got caught with their pants down. They botched it. They botched it left, right, and center. But they need to be perceived as giving a damn. And here's what's going to happen with this. This is a fun little look into the future for me. And hopefully you. There's going to be a new CBA. Everything's on the table in the new CBA. I'm going to guarantee right now that the Pride hats are axed in the new CBA by MLB mandate. And my guess is that there was a conversation between the Giants organization, which, at the very top, they don't give a damn about that stuff. It's just how do they want to be perceived in this community, which probably pretty important to be open to pride in the San Francisco community. How do we want to be perceived? Oh, let's get a hat on, and Major League Baseball said, we're going to pin this one on you. And then and then you can pin when we can't do the pride. You can't do the pride animal. You can pin that on us.
Yeah. There's only two teams that do it, right? The Dodgers and the Giants. That's it.
Only two teams in California. And by the way, this whole it's actually Jesus's rainbow Bible verse thing. We can blame Clayton Kershaw for that, amongst so many other things in life.
I think the Giants, you know what? I think everything he said is a great guest having Dieter on tonight. I think the Giants treat it like we owe Logan Webb that we must keep him, when they should be saying we owe it to ourselves to move you.
Not even that. Let's also take it a step further. Now, me and Logan have had it out. Okay. I think Logan, I'll just call it like I see it. I think he's soft as hell. Okay. People keep saying he's the leader of this team. I do think he has the respect of his teammates. I think that's well earned. But the way that he handles criticism is childish and laughable. And if you're wondering why it is that this team can't ever seem to get over a hump, but sure as hell can fall down one, if that guy's a leader on your team and he's soft as hell, this is the result. Okay. First off, a starting pitcher should not be a leader on your team unless he's Greg Flippin Maddox, right? Or Justin Verlander last year. This guy has won nothing. He's won nothing. He's not special. He's not a number one on any team that's ever going to win anything. Okay. He's a damn good pitcher, but that's the extent of the praise I'm going to levy on Logan Webb. He's a damn good pitcher, and he'll be a hell of a pitcher for a team that doesn't have to make him their top pitcher. People keep saying he's the leader of this team. He's the face of this franchise. What the hell has that gotten you? He's pitched in 2 playoff games. He was dynamite in both of them, to his credit, but he's pitched in 1 playoff series in his entire career. This is the face of your franchise. Your franchise needs a new face. And what does it say about Logan Webb? Now, I defer a little bit, and maybe my life experience is such to where I'm speaking from a point of, I don't know if it's called privilege or whatever, but as someone who's moved around a lot and doesn't live where he grew up and doesn't have that support system, just up the road, probably easy for me to say, get your ass out of there. Save yourself. Say it publicly. Say, I'm open to a trade. I'm open to a trade. And it would be a very simple conversation. You go up and even if you don't want to tarnish whatever reputation you have with the fans. Oh, they love him so much. Even if you don't want to do that, it's a pretty simple conversation. You get your agent on the phone and you say, call up the Giants and say, make me a contract extension offer right now. I'll sign it. This is the precursor to in any other sport. This is the precursor. Are you going to extend me? No, then trade me. And if the Giants don't want to extend him with 2.5 years left on his contract, as they probably shouldn't because he's a pitcher with heavy mileage, now we have a fork in the road. Say, okay, well, if we don't want to extend now, let's go through our options. What are our options? So
you're talking about forcing the issue.
Correct. You force the issue, but you don't do it. You don't do it heavy-handedly.
Correct.
You don't do it publicly. You don't have to come out and say, yeah, I'm open to a trade. Yeah, I want out of here. This team sucks. I don't want to be on this team anymore. You don't want to burn that bridge with the fan base for whatever, use that bridge is to you. Fine. Fair enough. Right? That's probably the smart thing to do. But there are also ways to get the hell up out of there. But he doesn't want to get the hell up out of here. He wants to stay around and be the king of the, a bad baseball team, which I think speaks a little bit to him.
Wow. How about that?
Hey, Dieter, first of all, I want to say thank you again for coming. And I know I'm going to relate back. And this will be my last question.
Okay.
Any chance we play next year? Just yes or no?
Yeah. No, I think there's a chance they play next year. It ain't going to be a
full season, or maybe
no, not a chance. It might be. It's sprint season, I think, is what we'll end up calling it. It won't be terribly dissimilar from the COVID scenario.
I just wanted to throw that in. Go ahead.
Yeah. And you know what? I do think that that's another aspect of what's going on here with the Giants is that they are. It's one of the reasons I don't. I have it on. It could go either way, so maybe I shouldn't speak with such certainty. It certainly appears as if the Giants, being 12th or 13th in payroll, however you want to look at it, there's plenty of people who think that is directly correlated to the pending CBA and the Giants' ridiculous concerns that they would screw themselves over if they spent too much money. I think that that's a cover for them just not wanting to spend a lot of money. And frankly, at a certain point, you're just at a certain point when they miss out on the first and second and third wave of free agency, it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't be spending any more money, right? You end up with a lot of Harrison Baders. Yeah, I mean, they're not unique in this sense, but like it definitely came up that the new CBA might, who knows what it's going to be, but there's certainly a school of thought that it could be extremely punitive towards high spending luxury tax teams, and that the Giants didn't want to put themselves in any sort of a deep hole by handing out big time long-term contracts this past offseason that, on top of the 3 that they already can't
Got
get
enough
off of.
already.
Yeah. But again, another knee-jerk reaction. In one calendar year, they put on, all this money on the books. And then the next year, we can't spend any money because we put all this money on the books. And then, 3 months later, it's like, yeah, anyone wants them, we'll definitely give them up for you. It's like, oh boy. Again, where are the values? Where is the North Star? Where's the plan? Because I see a team that has 3 highly paid veterans that aren't going anywhere and going to have to play every day. I see a team of young kids all around them. I see some weird, mercenaries on the in-between that are basically here to get traded. And I see a manager who it's like, man, he was going to have a hard enough time if you had nothing but kids. He was going to have a really hard time if you gave him nothing but veterans. And now you've given him this weird hodgepodge to where it's like, I don't even know where he's supposed to start figuring out what the hell to do. Does he start with the kids and we're all going to grow together? Does he start with the mercenaries and, tap into whatever weird energy goes on there because everybody's fighting for a contract? Or does he try to win over these veterans who frankly know that, if he doesnn't work out, there'll be another man. I'm not going anywhere. I'm furniture, baby. I come with the place. So I don't think Tony has covered himself in any sort of a glory. I can't point to anything that makes me say he's appreciably helping them win, but boy, he didn't. You want to know how inexperienced he was? He looked at this situation and thought he could do it.
Wow.
Well, if we only play a short season, maybe we get in the back end. We play a 14-game season, so we can't finish 15 games below.
Yeah, never 16. Tomorrow they're going to win. That's a guarantee.
Oh my gosh.
No guarantees of this team. The only guarantee is there's going to be more Hello Kitty days.
Yes. It's all about that marketing. Nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
No one likes it.
No one likes it. Hey, Dieter, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Hey, maybe we'll have to do this again after the trade deadline. Maybe we'll hook up again after the trade deadline.
Oh boy. Yeah. I'll emotionally prepare myself for that. That's going to be a blast. Luckily, there'll be nothing to talk about with this baseball team between now and then.
Oh, man.
When you're over at the KNBR studios, just curious, do you ever run into my old pal?
Being?
I can give his name on here. Todd Freifogel.
Oh, I don't run into Todd, no.
You know who he is, though, right?
I do know who Todd is, yeah.
Okay. I mention his name to people who even work there, and they're like, who's that? I'm like, geez, he's only been there 20 years on the other side of the glass, right? So
I've definitely seen the name in emails. I've never run into him, I don't believe. If I did, I feel bad now. But I'm sorry, Todd. I'm going
to tell him you spoke highly of him.
Nice. I know him to be a person.
Okay, well, he's there. He might.
Dieter, thank you again. I'm very good friends with Larry Kruger. It was such an honor to have you, Eric.
Oh,
you bet.
Leave the Edmund.
Thanks again, Dieter. Take care, my friend.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, bud.
Good job.
All right, there was Dieter Kurtenbach.
Awesome.
How about that,
man?
Honest. That's how it is. I love it.
That's good stuff.
I need a drink. Get me a drink.
Yeah, you
calls a spade a spade. Calls a spade a spade.
He does. All right, guys. Let's take a trip over to Tommy's. We'll be right back. right, there we go. Our proud sponsor of Giant Sports Talk Live here in 2026, Tommy's Mexican restaurant, where you can go get the world famous Tommy, the Tommy Margarita.
They're
And if you
probably
just
partying
joined
hard
us-
after Mexico's big win today.
Yeah, I was just going to get to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching the Dodger game, and some guy was kept jumping up. Go! Go!
That was
They wouldn't go
hilarious.
1-2-0.
Shut the hell up. If you're just joining us, by the way, it's been an hour and a half since we even mentioned. The Giants got pummeled, smoked, blasted, defeated, destroyed, embarrassed tonight. Tomorrow, they've got Trevor McDonald, Eric, 2-6, 4.94 ERA, up against Zach Gallen and his 3-7, 6.15 ERA. And as we tell you on Giant Sports Talk Live, as we wiggle our finger, which is the in thing to do, don't let the numbers fool you.
Well,
Hey,
Glenn,
Gallen pitches the Giants tough all the time.
especially at home. And then you got to remember today, the guy was a bullpen guy that they had to send down to the minors just so he could at least pitch 2 innings. The guy went 6 against us.
I know.
It's a joke.
Yeah, Brandon Pfaadt looked like a freaking ace. He only struck out 2, but he didn't allow any runs. Well,
Way
no,
ahead.
I should say he allowed 1. I think he allowed
A couple
one.
of long drives there, but I was surprised on the postgame show on NBC. They said there were no hard hit balls. I thought
No,
that's
not
hard
really.
hit.
Oh no! I mean, Devers, his was 111 miles an hour. That was pretty hard.
Schmidt
But again, that
ball
was
to the track. Eldridge hit one deep.
it wasn't against Pfaadt though.
But again, am I wrong, Eric? There's too many instances. I say this about
Yeah,
Devers.
I
all
hear
the
you.
time.
You're
Robbie
right. You're
Dizzle
right about
gets
that.
so upset with me because I always have a bit of fun with Robert. I hope he knows that.
Of course.
too. I get
Of
so
course.
critical. They just so let's say Eldridge hits a home run tonight on that ball. Well, there's a run. They don't put up crooked numbers. They get a run here and a run here. Oh, Devers with a home run. There's our one run today. That they don't compete
And
as
Roop
a team, as our guest
looked
said.
absolutely horrendous. And to what Dieter was talking
Flavor
about,
of the week.
you know how Dieter was talking about he just looked overwhelmed calling his own game. I think that's what led to guys being able to steal second base standing up. Bartolo Colon could have been standing on second base with the way that Landon Roop was holding on runners. Absolutely ridiculous.
And maybe it was an issue for the catcher, too, because I'm not going to make excuses for him, Eric, but he is no Patrick Bailey behind the plate.
He did okay. I mean,
And
his
balls
glove
were going
malfunction.
through his glove.
No,
off his
it went through his
He was-
glove. That was an equipment malfunction. That wasn't his.
Ah.
Right? Damn, there's
Eric, he's no
his
Patrick
fault.
Bailey.
But I'm just saying, it was the
It's
pitching.
it's like him,
Good
too.
story. JB, thanks for donating that $5. I saw it come in earlier. Says Post only signed for 1 or 2 year deals. Is there a method to the madness? Are they gambling on the lockout? No. Well, according to what Dieter, he thinks that hey, it's just kind of smoke and mirrors. It's a good excuse not to go spend a lot of money. But to that point, they did spend a lot of money in the previous offseason. So it's not about that. It's about who they've spent the money on. I think that's more important of what the Giants
Or who
have
they
been doing,
didn't.
So
Or who they
it was
did.
just a fair.
There were some people in
And
the
I
chat
mean,
during that. There were some people in the chat, Eric, during that interview. It was a lengthy one.
Yeah, it was
so
good stuff.
I loved it. Quite a few people in the chat who I'm not going to say I love Buster Posey because I don't. Because at the end of the day, he built this team, Eric. It's his thumbprint now.
Yeah.
You can't treat it like Paulie. Well, this is Farhan's. This is Farhan's mess. It's not. It's Posey's mess. His thumbprint's on it. He did this. So while I can understand the people in the chat who say, and I feel like you got to wait. This trade deadline, Eric, the day after we're doing a show, I might just call it quits and retire. I might be, that's it. Go back in the foxhole. Never, ever coming out, Eric. I'm hiding. The shell fire will be too much for me to handle.
I hear you.
But at the end of the day, you don't pass. Well, after the trade deadline, I'll see how I feel about Buster. I know how I feel about Buster. That is an issue, Eric. I know how I feel about him right now. He made this mess. You agree?
Yeah, he did. Come on, he did. A lot of this roster is built because of Buster Posey. So, yes.
Do you think he can dig himself out? Do you think he can dig himself out of this?
Well,
Eric?
I don't
He'll even
know.
try.
I don't know. I mean, Dieter doesn't think it's going to be much. Look, and I've said this all along, the big three probably are not going anywhere. You're stuck with them, guys.
Boy,
You're stuck with them.
Eric, let's say they even move one. So let's say they move Robbie Ray.
Well, no. I'm talking about the big three. The big
No,
One
no,
of
three.
the
but
big three.
On trade deadline day, we're doing the show, and
Uh-huh.
it's the 3:00 bell. Oh, Close
It's
the
only
gates,
Robbie Ray.
close the
Robbie
window.
Ray.
The window has now closed, and we traded Robbie Ray.
And Luis Ariz, and that's it. That's
Or
probably all it's
no,
gonna
but I'm saying if they trade one,
be.
are
Okay.
you gonna like crap your pants and say that? This, like, I mean, what are you gonna do? What do you do?
No, nothing. There's nothing you can do. All we can do is sit here and talk about it and say this stinks. All right. I mean, Dom, what's up, Dom? He says the defining deadline coming. It is a defining deadline because what direction are the Giants? Are they going to go and try? Look, I laid this out the other night, man. You got the number 4 pick in the amateur draft. You have a chance to get even more. Dieter talked about it. You could get a top 20, a top 80 in the top 100 prospect, along with a couple of other guys. Can you imagine getting something? I mean, you already got 3 in the top 100, plus you're going to get the 4th pick. There's a potential, right? There's a potential that the Giants can do. It's not guaranteed, but let's see what they do. I don't know, man.
Or what they don't do. Dom, I'm of the belief, Dom, that if the trade deadline comes and we don't trade Logan Webb, that is my issue of the day. If they don't trade Logan Webb, then I feel that the team then looking forward, moving forward, getting back on the field next year, the year after, are sending me a message that they are content as a 500 team. They're content playing 5. This is a bad year. So, we're going to try to get better. With Logan Webb, then we're still only a 500 team. We don't trade him. That's as good as it gets. If we do, there might be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. We might find it.
Yes, because we're going nowhere in 2 years, and you're not going. That's where I'm at. It's not that I want to trade Logan Webb because I think he's a bad pitcher. I don't want to say trade Logan Webb just because I'm pissed off at the team. I say trade Logan Webb because at the particular time where they're at right now, if the Giants had gone a different course in this last offseason and actually got some good pitching, then I would say, okay, they got something, so let's go ahead and keep building off of that. But they haven't. Are we going to rely on, listen to the rotation next year? Ray's going to be gone. Is Landon Roop in the future? Is Trevor McDowell in the future? Is Birdsong the future? Is Hauser the future?
No, but people will still say, Eric, they'll go out and sign people. Well, that's what they did this year.
But they didn't. And where I'm basing this is that they're not going to go out there and do it because they could have done it last year and they didn't do it.
Tyler freaking Malley.
It's a mess, dude. It's a mess. And that's why I say trade Logan Webb for the simple fact that if the Giants aren't going anywhere in 2 years, and he's not going to probably re-sign with the Giants because I don't think the Giants would offer him the contract that he's looking for. So get the most you can out of him to help your team for the future. That's where I'm standing.
People get upset with me, and I think all of us, when we talk about trading him, and I say, yes, but look at his value. And then they automatically think, I say, look at it. Look at the value he is to our team, Eric. I don't mean he's a value by throwing on that cream jersey, as Dieter would say, and pitching for the Giants. His value to this team is playing somewhere else, Eric.
Yeah, right. To get something back. Yeah.
That's
100%.
his value to same thing last night. You mentioned off the top of the show last night, Eric, about 27 hours ago now, you said Robbie Ray's value to us is going up.
Yes.
It's going up. His value to us is going up because we can move him and we get better.
That's correct. That's
doesn't
the point.
mean his value to us. Oh, we can throw him out there. Let's throw him out every 4th start. Now we'll win more. His value is getting him the hell out of here and getting better players.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, Eric. Everybody is just
whatever. Hey, no, it's okay. If people can feel it, I'm not going to sit there. If they want to keep them, that's fine. That's their prerogative. I'm not going to sit there, but again, this is just me. I want the Giants to be better going forward. And I just don't see it in the next 2 years.
Here's me being our fan base, Eric. Let's bring back Wilmer Flores. Let's bring him back, Eric. That's the fan base. Let's bring him back. Hey, let's bring back Yastrzemski. Let's bring back Dom Smith. That's the way this fan base rolls. Bring back my old favorites.
But you know what? It doesn't matter, fan base. What I care about is what the hell the organization is going to do. That's my concern. Look, the fan base can go out there and cry whatever they want, but that's not going to make the changes to the San Francisco Giants. It's the San Francisco Giants organization that has to make these changes.
Well, Eric, have you ever, when you were a little boy, did you ever get up on a Christmas morning and disappointed you didn't get what you really wanted?
Oh,
that one gift? Well, good, because now you'll understand how you're going to feel the first week of August when the trade deadline comes. There's no surprises for Eric Romo. He knows what's going to happen.
I already know.
The disappointment. I'm used to the disappointment. It's happened to me at Christmas. It'll happen to me today.
It's going to happen. It's look. I'm not putting any expectation. I think this again. These are just my ideas. What I like to see. There's no guarantee that it's going to happen. Look, people talking about, hey, we can move off one of these big three. Hey, good luck. Especially look, and I was looking at Twitter all night just to see if there's an update on Chapman. Have not seen any update on Chapman. I don't know
We're
what
starting to drop like
going
flies too. With this bad, I said it before, and Lou mentioned it the other night. We're winning very few games with a healthy lineup.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing them dropping like flies
Willie
all over the
Adames,
place.
look, Willie Adames might hit the IL.
Adames,
now Chapman, we don't know what's going on with Chapman.
Oh my God. And Dieter's right, Eric. Everyone with any knowledge has said Logan Webb is just an injury away from utter collapse.
Yep.
Utter
hey,
collapse,
Dom,
no
what is he
value.
getting an MRI on? Anyone know? What is he getting an MRI on? Is it his leg?
Anyway, I got bad news for you, Eric. Bad news coming in. I got to get up in 4 hours. It is now officially, it is 1:30 in the morning, and it is Canada Day. So I got to be up in 4 hours because on Canada Day, the guy who should be off is the guy who's got to work for everybody else. So I'm doing the morning show. I got to be up in 4 hours. But I get to play all Canadian rock tomorrow. So
hey, nothing wrong with that. Right on, man. There's
hey,
nothing wrong
Lou,
with that.
I'll be thinking about you when you're snoozing with your, Lou's got the little nightcap with the little ball at the end of the thing and his night robe. Lou's going to be in bed with visions of sugar plums, and I'm going to be playing rock and roll. I'm going to play a little Lover Boy for you tomorrow morning.
Lover Boy and Honeymoon Suite, and of course, Mr. Brian Adams. Thank you.
What is an abdominal?
I'm Brian Adams out.
Abdominal strain?
See,
what is
I
that?
thought it was in the stomach.
Yeah, abdomen.
Maybe it's
How do you
abdomen.
pull an ab? I've never heard of that. I never heard
Yeah.
of pulling an abdominal.
Oh yeah,
Tough angle.
yeah. It's a common thing. It's a common thing, Eric.
Oh, is it oblique? Oh, forget it.
Now it's an oblique.
I grabbed him. Hey, guys, I'm gonna tell you, he's probably gonna go on the IL. He'll probably be out. Who knows? Depending on what comes back at the MRI, but the way it grabbed at him, yeah. Did you see the way he acted? It grabbed at him. And at first, I thought it was arm because it looked like he was favoring his arm, but it looks like he was just holding his stomach, I guess, right? I guess that's kind of what he was doing.
I feel bad for the guy, but let's be honest.
I know.
You're going to miss him?
Absolutely.
You're going to miss him? It'll open the door for, hey, let's get Schmidt over there at third base.
Did you see him
this
running?
This is opening some doors, Eric.
We always have Cox. Cox can play.
Yeah, 88 wins, baby.
I tell you what, though, the way he was running up the line, he might be done for a while. And it sucks. It sucks, I feel, because, look, he ain't going to be able to get traded. So, look, if you thought Webb was going to get traded, he ain't getting traded. Devers ain't getting traded, and Adames isn't getting traded.
He like the Giants.
Guys, they are going to be part of the Giants going forward. That's just the way it is, man.
Hey, you guys close it out. I got to get out of here.
Good
Good show tonight with Dieter. That was good.
Absolutely.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Take it easy, Glenn.
Get
right,
see you, Lou.
Lou, yesterday you talked about how are the Giants going to finish? And we'll wrap it up. How are the Giants going to finish June? Well, how did they finish June, Lou?
With a losing record.
Ah!
Another month with a losing record. We were so close. We only had to win one of our last two, and we couldn't do that.
And how many wins do we have against the Arizona Diamondbacks, Lou?
Let me take a look. Hold on. I got for this question, I got the computer.
Oh, man. Hey, all we could do is laugh about this, right? I mean, come on.
0.
0. 0-8 against
0.
Arizona. And someone said, hey, the schedule, I think I saw it on Twitter. The schedule's going to be light. Giants have a potential to do. Come on, man.
That's what teams say when they see they're playing the Giants.
This is just, it's bad, guys. It's bad. Anyway, hey, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this post-game special. It was a lot of fun. Again, thanks to Dieter Kurtenbach coming on and spending, look, man, he spent over an hour and a half with us.
Eric, that was all you. Great pickup.
But thanks.
And again, if you guys didn't see it, you can look him up. The article he wrote, he got shellacked.
Yeah, he
Susan
did.
said, you have no clue what you're talking about. Alex, you have no clue. How can you say this about Buster? Everything he wrote about, he was correct.
Yeah, it's coming to fruition. Yeah, man. This is a lot of fun, though. Guys, I'm glad you're able to hang out and be able to see this. And again, if you want to watch it again, hey, it's going to be up on YouTube until YouTube's gone. So right on. Hey, Lou, you were great today as well. And Glenn, he was fantastic. He had some great questions, too, especially about the KNBR stuff. And just the local media in general. That was really good stuff. So Again, guys, we'll be back at it again tomorrow. I think it's another PM start tomorrow, right? I don't think it's an afternoon game. I think it's 6 o'clock, I think.
Let me just double check.
Just real quick. Let's look at it real quick.
Yeah, another 6:40 start.
6:40 start because then they have Thursday off and they just
Zach Gallen, yeah.
Oh, that should be an interesting one. We'll see how that one. Is McDonald going to call his own game? We'll find out.
And again, I said this when everyone got excited because Webb and Ray pitched. I go, you guys are forgetting about the other 3 pitchers.
Yeah, you said it.
Not been good.
And there you go.
Can they avoid this? Can they avoid? Oh, yeah. And they're going against USA Soccer. And I think I bought this up the other night. There'll be a lot of eyes on USA Soccer and that Giants baseball, But hey, see if they can avoid the sweep. But a sweep would not be surprising since they've been swept already in Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. So I've lost another series. How about that? Imagine that. All right, let's get the hell out of here. And guys, we'll see you in the morning. And then we will see you on the post game of the series finale between the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Yeah, buddy. All right, guys, be good. Enjoy the rest of your night with what's left of it.
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.